By the grace of heaven, the emperor decrees, you, Jiang Ding. Possessing grand strategies in your heart and unmatched ambition to serve the realm, you are hereby conferred the rank of General of the Left Wing, 4th grade. Proceed to the capital at once to accept your post. Respect this. Yes. Make sure to bring plenty of silver, this chest, and that one too. Take them all. Those officials in the capital require generous bribes, and also the new soaps and perfumes from the Northern Liang workshops. These are rare treasures. The noble ladies in the capital will scramble to buy them. General, what brings you here today? Swell. Changfeng. Have you truly thought this through, going to the capital? How can you ask that, General? I have even dared to charge into the barbarians' iron pagoda cavalry. Is there anywhere in the capital I cannot go? No matter how formidable those pedantic scholars are they sharper than the curved blades of the barbarians? Even if the barbarians' curved blades are sharp, they only strike before your eyes. But in the capital, schemes and plots are impossible to guard against. Changfeng, you know full well this is a trap. General, Beiliang needs money. 70,000 new refugees have arrived at the Beiliang border. Added to the existing 30,000, that makes 100,000. 100,000 refugees mean 100,000 mouths waiting to be fed. They came from various provinces and counties. Because they trust you, General, and they trust Beiliang. Are you going to tell them that Beiliang cannot afford to support them, and tell them to go back to where they came from? The capital controls the treasury, holding all the wealth of the great Qian. If Beiliang wants silver, we cannot bypass those pedantic scholars in Jingzhou. General, are you truly willing to let our soldiers risk their lives in the freezing cold, only to be cast aside? Those men who call themselves loyal patriots are lazing upon the merits we bought with our blood, wallowing in extravagance and debauchery, lost in a world of gold and dreams. Every cent they spend comes from the military funds of our Beiliang. His Majesty already harbors fear of our northern army. If Beiliang asks for funds, I fear he will not grant them easily. Thus, we must pry the wealth from their own pockets. Is this flower dew? This is called perfume. That one is called soap. And this one here. This is an upgraded version of our down vest. The collar is made of the finest snow fox fur from Beiliang. The outer lining is wool. The inner lining is silk. The filling is entirely duck down. This fine item is as soft as a cloud. How much do you think this is worth, General? 50 taels. 50 taels wouldn't even buy the buttons. I intend to sell them for 500 taels. 500 taels. It is a fine item, indeed. I fear that at such a price, no one will buy it. That is where you are mistaken, General. Whether a product sells well or not does not depend on the pricing, but on the marketing. From this moment on, this thing shall no longer be called a cloak. We shall rename it Beijing Snow Thaw. And the stuffing inside is not mere duck down, but the down of the divine in-mountain blood vulture. This down can only be harvested once every 3 years, and requires 500 maidens to rinse it for 49 days, in the pure, glacial waters of the heavenly path. After undergoing 81 refining processes, can it finally be crafted? Black Yamademon, what kind of blood feud is that? Aren't you just swindling people? What would a brat like you know? This is called economic warfare. A visible enemy can be eliminated with steel horses and curved blades, but an invisible enemy must be eliminated through an invisible war. Each of these Beijing snow velvet garments sells for 500 taels. 100 garments would be 50,000 taels. 50,000 taels can forge 1,000 sharp blades, buy 500 war horses, and cover 2 months of expenses for these 100,000 refugees. We are earning money from those in the capital to strengthen our own ranks. When the day comes that we lead our soldiers to march into the capital, they will realize the blades held at their throats are the very ones they paid for themselves. This is what we call economic warfare. Gao, this move is truly brilliant. It is 10,000 times more ruthless than looting with force. Ha 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 ha. Little wolf cub, you still have much to learn. Remember this, the sharpest blade in this world is not forged from iron, but cast from silver. Once you learn how to spend money, you will have learned how to kill without drawing blood. Jiang Ding, I wish to ask a favor of you. Speak. I wish to apprentice under you. I no longer want to do menial chores like feeding horses and chopping wood. I want to learn your skills. I want to be just like you. To win without shedding blood, and defeat an enemy 100 times stronger than myself. Very well. I can give you this opportunity, but not right now. When you can survive 10 moves against the blind man without dying, I will agree to take you as my disciple. Now get out and chop some firewood. If you don't chop 500 caddies, no dinner tonight. Raising such a wolf cub is no different from harboring a tiger. Changfeng, have you really thought this through? Humph, he is at most a wildcat. Not only will I teach him, I will also take him with me to the capital. I want him to see the prosperity of the capital. I want him to know that one can live like a god without resorting to plundering. Once he accepts this way of thinking, we will use our rules to govern the grasslands. When that time comes, is the prairie still the northern blue prairie? This is what you call a cultural invasion. A cultural invasion of Changfeng. You always have so many whimsical ideas I never expect. Enough nonsense. I am a transmigrator, after all. I have 2,000 years of wisdom more than you. Now, General, you may rest assured that I shall head to the capital. Ha 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 ha. I should have realized long ago. You are the only rogue who leaves others at a disadvantage. The current empress is my elder sister. Changfeng, if you encounter any difficulties, take this token, and you may seek his assistance. Rest assured, General, I shall not fail this mission. An explanation? No problem. Why is everyone looking at me like that? It's not as if I'm not coming back. Changfeng, do ease up, General. Don't be so stern. I promise, I shall return once spring arrives. Ha 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 ha. When I return, I'll bring back the prettiest girl in the capital, to be your bride. Ha ha ha. Ha. So this is the capital. Goodness gracious. Just this stretch of the city wall alone must have taken millions of bricks to build. How much would that cost? Money. Money is the least valuable thing here. Every single gray brick in this wall is engraved with the artisan's name and place of origin. Which prefecture, which province, which county, which town, even which kiln and which batch. It must all be clearly inscribed. Should the quality prove substandard, that is a capital offense punishable by beheading. You only see the glossy, polished surface of these walls. You fail to see the ambition and vanity festering in their cracks. Sooner or later, when Northern Liang invades and reaches this place, I will tear it all down. With all these bricks, I could build so many pigsties. You brat, can you have a little more ambition? Think bigger. This is called a fixed asset, do you understand? Is the visitor the wolf general of the left prison, Jiang Ding? That is I. Does this official have any business with me? Are you here to treat me to a meal? Insolent! This official is the Vice Minister of Rights, third rank, appointed by His Majesty. I am here by imperial decree to welcome you. Why do you not kowtow? Furthermore, weapons are prohibited in the capital of the emperor. By the laws of the Great Qian, there are no exceptions. A subject entering the capital must unsheath his blade, remove his armor, and enter through the side gate. You bunch of low-bred soldiers, wearing armor and carrying weapons, are you intending to rebel? Why you, what are you doing? Honorable Vice Minister, you just said that I should have my men disarm and surrender their blades. Do you know where these blades and armor came from? I don't care where they came from. These are the rules. This is the armor of the Manchu cavalry. Everyone, Judge for yourselves. A month ago, the Manchu left virtuous prince led 50,000 blue banner troops to ambush our great frontier. The soldiers of our Shanbei army, clad in nothing but tunics and holding only shields and blades, fought those barbarians to the death at Blackwater River. It was with great difficulty that they won the battle. These scimitars and light armor, it is the soldiers at the front line risking their lives to earn these merits. Who would have thought that the proof of the soldiers' bloody sacrifices would be an eyesore to the nobles in the capital, demanding we sheathe our blades and remove our armor before entering the city. The soldiers on the front lines protect our home and country. We cannot let their hard work and devotion end in heartbreak. We must not let the soldiers' hearts turn cold. You are simply a disgrace to refinement. A disgrace to refinement. Refinement, humph. While the soldiers in Beiliang are eating frozen hard bread and drinking blood-stained water from the ground, what are you cultured scholars doing? You are drinking in brothels and writing that utter nonsense of empty words, still plotting on how to sell us to the barbarians. But the main gate is reserved for His Majesty alone. You must use the side gate. Minister Qian, I think you are mistaken about one thing. We are not starving bandits or refugees. We are the Shanbei army. The Shanbei army carries blades, mute. Show our honorable vice minister a special skill. This path is a bit narrow. Move that thing out of my way. Oh, my apologies. I'm afraid I used too much strength by accident. My lord, does the path look wider now? Why wider? Yes. Please pass, General of the Middle Palace. That is more like it. Also, I must trouble you to relay a message to the one behind you. Do not presume to manipulate the Shanbei army. Our rule is simple: as long as our blades remain sharp, wherever I wish to go, that is my path. Enter the city. Did he truly say that? As long as the blade in one's hand is sharp enough, wherever he wishes to go, that is his path. It is absolutely true, Lord Governor. This general is so arrogant, he clearly does not hold you in any regard. You must seek justice for me. Is that so? I find this man to have some courage. The Northern Army only comes to the capital to demand money, but our emperor will not easily contend with him. Then we shall lend a hand. His Majesty currently favors Zhao Wuji. The court is tilting toward the Yan faction. Only by stirring up these waters will the Northern Army and the Yan faction destroy each other. And only then can we reap the spoils. Suwan. Elder He. Go and probe the true background of this commander of the gentlemen of the household. Yes. This is how life should be lived. The capital is certainly better than Beiliang. You could never get food like this in Hutu City. Get in there. Let go. This man, Tanjun, was lurking outside suspiciously. Oh! It seems on our very first day here, someone is already unable to sit still. Blind man. Let me guess who sent you. Was it Xiao Wuji hoping to get some benefit? Or did Zhao Shen send you to spy on the Shanbei army? Then it must be Gu Xian. The big spectacle at the Shen Gate today was arranged by him, right? Don't waste your breath. I won't say a word. So, you've been professionally trained as an assassin. Do you think I have no way to deal with you if you refuse to talk? Let me guess. Elder Gu and Xiao Wuji have been locked in a bitter struggle. Now that Xiao Wuji has earned merit by signing the truce, he has gained the upper hand in the court. Elder Gu must be getting restless. He wants to use the Shenbei army as his target and then watch the tigers fight from the mountaintop. He wants to see me clash with the Yan faction. It's a pity his wishful thinking will come to naught. The Shenbei army never bows to coercion. Tell me, if I were to hand you over to Zhao Wuji, or perhaps to His Majesty, do you think they would find a way to pry your mouth open, to make me betray Elder Gu? You might as well kill me now. Ha ha ha, rest assured, sir. I am merely trying to frighten you. Elder Gu wants to watch me and Zhao Wuji tear each other apart like dogs. As it happens, I also wish to use your blade, Grand Secretary, to kill someone. Had that wretched dog Zhao Wuji not blabbered nonsense, I would not have been forced to flee to the capital. This debt should be settled with the wolf cub. Go and fetch the gift I prepared for the Grand Secretary. This ledger is evidence of Zhao Wuji accepting bribes from the Manchus. Impossible. This is a forgery. Zhao Wuji may be greedy, but he lacks the guts to cede territory. Truth and falsehood are interchangeable when one desires them to be. I believe that even if it is a forgery, the Grand Secretary will surely find a way to make it real. The most important thing is whether His Majesty believes it to be real or fake. You had it all calculated. The Grand Secretary wanted you and Zhao Wuji to clash, yet you intend to drag the Grand Secretary into these muddy waters as well, borrowing a knife to kill. Remember to pass a message to the Grand Secretary for me when you return. The blade of the Shenbei army, once unsheathed, must remain invisible. I fear the Grand Secretary cannot afford the price. So, it is best not to forget. Otherwise, what might happen next time is hard to say. Ha 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 ha. Look at how cowardly he was. Master Kanjun is indeed formidable. Will that Grand Secretary really listen to us? He has no choice but to listen. The Shenbei army is far away, but the fire Zhao Wuji has started is already burning right before his eyes. The Gu faction and the Yan faction, led by Zhao Wuji, have always been at odds. The more the emperor favors the Yan faction, the less influence Gu Xian has in the imperial court. Therefore, he is impatient to see the Shenbei army and the Yan faction fight. Once we and Zhao Wuji leave each other severely wounded, he will be the sole power remaining, and that ledger is essentially a sharpened blade for killing Zhao Wuji, handed directly to Gu Xian. Once he grips this blade, could he really resist the urge to stab Zhao Wuji? This Jiang Ding has truly given me quite a surprise. So this ledger is not merely a facade, it is but a lure cast out by Jiang Ding. He knows very well that His Majesty trusts the Yan faction. If Zhao Wuji merely took bribes, it would not be enough to topple him. But if the bribe money flowed to the Shenbei army, that would be a different story. It just so happens that Zhao Wuji has only recently returned, and Northern Liang has already set up defenses. But will His Majesty really believe it? Whether he believes it or not is irrelevant. What matters is sowing seeds of doubt in the emperor's mind. Better to execute 3,000 innocents than to let a single traitor escape. I suspect Jiang Ding still holds other evidence, sufficient to force Zhao Wuji to surrender. Very well. As long as I can bring down Yanko, what does it matter if I serve as his blade for once? The sky is turning bright. It is time for court. But teacher, Zhao Wuji will not confess so easily, will he? Humph. This is the second move I intend to make. When Zhao Wuji was in Beijing, to claim undeserved credit, he gave me 50,000 taels of silver. 50,000 taels it is. Learn from this, you wolf cub. There is still much you have yet to learn. If you have any memorials, present them. If none, court is dismissed. Your Majesty, I have a report. This old subject has a memorial to present. This old subject wishes to impeach Huang Qingxi and Zhao Wuji, deceiving the emperor, accepting bribes, ceding territory without authorization, colluding with the enemy and betraying the country. Are you trying to get me killed? Fu Xian, you are slandering me. I have just signed a peace treaty with the northern barbarians. I have achieved an unparalleled merit. You are merely jealous. This is defamation. Oh, unparalleled merit. And how exactly was this merit earned? Does the commissioner not know this in his heart? Your Majesty, I have received a secret report from the northern border. The reason the Golden Horde retreated is because Xiao Wuji made a private deal with the Manchu tribes. Xiao Wuji accepted a bribe of 100,000 taels from the king of Han of the Golden Horde. He promised to cede the 3 cities of Haishi to them. I have the ledger of Xiao Wuji's bribes as evidence. The proof is irrefutable. I beseech your Majesty to decide. You are spouting nonsense. Your Majesty, Gu Xian is talking gibberish. This servant has never accepted any bribes. I have not even seen a single copper. If you don't believe me, you may search my residence. Is that so? If it is not found at home, perhaps it is hidden elsewhere. Zhao Qing. Tell me, why is it such a coincidence? As soon as you went to Beiliang, Limuji won a great victory, and immediately after, he built the Beiliang workshops. I have heard that the Beiliang workshops are housing 100,000 slave laborers. Where do you think he got the money for that? His Majesty is most wary of Beiliang declaring independence. That is why he has always used the military to keep them in check. If Xiao Wuji took bribes and gave that money to the Shenbei army, then it would mean Xiao Wuji is attempting to bribe the Shenbei army to serve his own ends. That would be undermining His Majesty's control over the military. So, that is why you asked Xiao Wuji for those 50,000 taels of silver first thing this morning. As long as His Majesty investigates, he will surely find out where that money went. Xiao Wuji is well aware of this. The account might be faked, but the money is real. By then, it will be like getting mud in your trousers. Even if it isn't excrement, everyone will believe it is. Wonderful. Zhao Qing. I had thought you were merely greedy for palace riches. I never expected you to be so power-hungry as well. Convey my imperial decree. Huang Qingxi, you accused Xiao Wuji of deceiving the throne. Effective immediately, stop the investigation by the Dali Temple. Confiscate his family assets. As for Limuji, since he has enough wealth to support the 100,000 refugees at the Northern Liang workshops, surely he has no need for my military funding. Besides, there is no war in the north right now. The national treasury is tight, so cut the spring military budget for the Northern Army by half. General, His Majesty has issued a decree. He is cutting the spring military funding for our Northern Army. Furthermore, he has diverted the grain and provisions that the Ministry of Revenue was supposed to allocate to us, giving them to the Pingxi army instead. Word is there are unusual movements at the western border. They must be given priority. Haiyan Nua, your emperor has betrayed the Shenbei army. He intends to starve the 100,000 soldiers in Beijiang to death. Are you not the least bit anxious? What good would anxiety do? By cutting off their provisions, he is forcing the Shenbei army to rebel. Once the Shenbei army rebels, he will have a pretext to mobilize the imperial forces to annihilate them. And since the Shenbei army is short on funds and supplies, we must step in to provide for these soldiers, along with the 100,000 mouths at the Beiliang workshops. This tactic is far more vicious than simply taking our heads. Military advisor, just say the word. The general and I will coordinate from within and without. At worst, I shall rebel against him. Not yet. The time is not right to move against this dog of an emperor. We have neither money nor grain. Furthermore, we lack a legitimate title. If we are truly surrounded by the imperial armies, even with 100,000 more soldiers, the Shenbei army cannot hold. Then what should we do? Should we just watch our brothers starve, moving supplies from the south to the north? He wouldn't dare. We shall go take them ourselves. Jiangnan. Shuho. Military advisor. How is the mission I tasked you with progressing? Rest assured, military advisor, I have rented out the largest brothel on Juke Street. All 5 floors, exactly as you instructed, have been converted into that bathhouse. It will be ready to open tomorrow. A bathhouse. As for the bathhouse, I have named it Heaven on Earth. Inside, one can enjoy wine and music, as well as saunas. When people receive foot massages and relax, their mental defenses are at their weakest. I want this place to become the greatest destination hub in all of Beliang. But what does this have to do with provisions? This brings me to my second point. Heaven on Earth is about to open. Send an invitation to Prince Xiaoyao of Dashu. Ask him if he is interested in expanding his business to the capital. This way, Your Highness, General Jiang is already in the imperial suite on the top floor, waiting for you. General Jiang, my god of wealth. The first batch of down vests sold out completely in Dashu. Those scholars and refined gentlemen, to snatch a single down vest, were even willing to pay 50 taels. Right now, your vest in the Great Chu is a rare treasure, hard to come by. You have already become the status symbol for the dignitaries of the Great Chu. Ha 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 ha. I have heard that this time you even brought an upgraded version of the down vest, Beijing Snowdown. This time, I have brought my entire fortune here. Grain, iron ore, silk or fabric, whatever you desire. Just name it. Your Highness, I am afraid this snowdown business can no longer proceed. What? Adjutant Jiang, how could such a profitable business be halted? What has happened? Sai, Your Highness, you are unaware. This chainmail and snowmelt are being produced by those refugees in the Beiliang military workshop. Now, Xiao Shen of the Qian has issued an imperial decree to cut military funding and provisions for Beiliang. Our general can barely afford to support the Shenbei army, let alone look after these refugees. Sai, if this continues, the Beiliang workshop will have to shut down. Jiang Kaijun, there is no need to play the pauper with me. Just speak your mind. How much grain does Beiliang truly lack? I have 50,000 dan on hand. Is that enough? 50,000 dan. I need 500,000 dan. What? 500,000 dan. Do you really take me for a grain merchant? Although Great Chu is wealthy, if we were to scrape together 500,000 dan, the state treasury would be half emptied. Moreover, the journey to Northern Liang is long. The transport costs would be astronomical. Your Highness, do not be so quick to refuse. This is flower dew. No, that's not right. Flower dew doesn't have such a potent scent, nor does it have such rich layers. It contains not only floral notes, but also musk and sandalwood. This is called perfume. I hear that the scholars and refined gentlemen of your esteemed country are fond of fragrance. If such a small bottle were brought to market, it would drive the scholars into a frenzy. Your Highness, the profit from this would be more than 10 times that of the down vests. How much stock do you have? I want it all. You may have it, but I do not want silver. I only want liang. Jiang Kaijun, that 500,000 pickles of grain is truly a relief for His Highness. I do not want grain from Great Chu. Great Chu's grain is too expensive, and Libe is too far away. Transport would be too slow. Then where do you want the grain from? I want grain from Jiangnan. Your Highness, please look. The official granaries in Jiangnan hold hundreds of thousands of pickles of grain. Your Highness, you are a prince of Great Chu. You hold great wealth in your hands. With your clearance permits, Jiangnan is adjacent to the Chu state. As for those corrupt officials and powerful clans, which one of them doesn't have business dealings with you? As long as you step forward, they will surely be more than willing. You can use Great Chu's merchant ships, travel north along the canal, and deliver it directly to the ferry crossing where we previously traded. This is smuggling military provisions. It is a capital offense punishable by death. Is His Highness afraid of being beheaded? This is Dakian territory. Who would dare to kill a prince of Chu in Dakian? Furthermore, regarding the profits, in addition to the perfume, I shall gift your Highness one more thing. What is it? A pass. From now on, Whenever your merchant caravans travel through Beijing, my men will provide escort. They shall even be tax exempt. If your highness wishes to expand your business into Dying or the northern barbarian lands, I can pave the way for you as well. This means you will hold a monopoly over all trade in the north. Very well, I accept this deal. 500,000 dan of grain. I will have it transported to Beijing for you within a month. But I want 500 bottles of this perfume. And the snow in Beijing melting. I want 1,000 pieces. It's a deal. Ha 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 ha. A pleasure doing business with you. A pleasure. Have you learned, little wolf pup? I have. Without deploying a single soldier, one can empty the granary of an entire nation. This economic warfare is more terrifying than direct slaughter. Master, will there come a day when you use this tactic against our grasslands? For instance, by purchasing our wool at high prices. So we focus solely on raising sheep, and stop raising horses, and stop training cavalry. And once the grasslands are filled with sheep, you suddenly break the contract, and stop buying our wool. Ha 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 ha. Good lad, you truly are my student. It is what you taught me. Congratulations, you have grasped the essence of trade warfare. You guessed correctly. This is indeed a card I prepared for you. So you must study with all your might. Not only must you learn how to kill without leaving a trace, but more importantly, how to avoid being killed. In this world, the weak are the prey of the strong. It is not just about the sharpness of blades, but the sharpness of one's mind. I will learn to be even sharper than you, and more ruthless. Then I shall wait and see. Ha 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 ha. As expected of military advisor Jiang, you have your ways. With these provisions, the soldiers will have enough to eat come spring. Resources. The great Chen is ailing. I used to believe our enemy was the barbarians. But now I realize. The greatest enemy of great Chen is itself. It is these greedy parasites. This grain was meant to save the lives of the common people. It is the state's wartime provision, yet it is being sold off by them at low prices. General, please try to see past it. If this grain stayed in Jiangnan, they would only sell it anyway. They would just report a granary fire to cover their tracks. It is better that it be transported to us in the north. At the very least, it can become a bowl of food for our brothers. You are right. At least they can have a full meal. At the very least, our soldiers deserve to be well fed. The first shipment of 200,000 dan of grain has arrived in the north. Now, it is time for us to get down to business. Military advisor, the dozens of cars of fine goods we brought from Northern Liang should be revealed now. Let the nobles of the capital feast their eyes. Marquis Zhao. Take these invitations for the auction, and deliver them to the residences of the various officials. The northern garrison has expanded its business all the way to the capital. It seems Limuji has been comfortable for too long, and has forgotten whose territory the capital really is. Since their memories are so poor, you shall go and remind them. Yes. This is the intelligence you spoke of. Jishan is a place of decadence. What kind of intelligence could you possibly find here? What would you know? Clear water yields no fish. Only in a place like this do the desires within people's hearts become amplified. That is when one can hear the most honest truths, to witness the truest suffering. Are you ready to keep watch? Joining the army? I can't do that. I was nothing but a petty thief before. I've always lived in the shadows. Now you want me to stand before all these people. My legs are shaking uncontrollably. What if I wet my pants on stage later? This is the capital. In situ, you were just a thief. Anyone could trample you underfoot. But here, you are Master Jean. You are their superior. They need your down cloaks to survive the winter. They need your perfumes to please their concubines. They need your glass mirrors to decorate their estates. Here, you are the law. Forget wetting your pants. Even if you defecated on that stage, they'd still bow to you. That is an auspicious sign worth 10,000 taels of gold. Just wait and see, counselor. Tonight, I will strip a layer of skin off these lords of the capital. My lords, thank you for your patience. Today is the first auction held at our peerless pavilion. All items come from our own workshops in Liang. Without further ado, please feast your eyes on our first lot, jasmine perfume. Bring it out. Surround this place. Do not let a single person leave. That is Shen Lian, the newly appointed commissioner of the Imperial Guard. He is a protege handpicked by Grand Secretary Gu. Yaba, come down with me. Commissioner, what is the meaning of this? I have received a tip-off. You have failed to pay your taxes in full as required by the Great Liang. Please reconsider, Commissioner. Commissioner. Commander Jiang. Are you trying to obstruct my official duties? Or do you also wish to be invited to the Imperial City Guard for tea? You may invite me for tea, Prefection, but my men don't have very good tempers. If they don't see me, the divine crossbows in their hands might taste blood. Everyone who came here today is a high-ranking official of the capital. If, by any chance, they are accidentally harmed, do you think the blame will be pinned on the Imperial City Guard? Say to Jiang Ding, are you threatening me? This is the capital. Your armed private feud is tantamount to treason. With just one command from me, 30,000 Imperial Guards will arrive to crush you. Armed private feud. Oh my, Prefection, I am so frightened. I am a man of timid heart, but they are most afraid of seeing blood. When my brothers saw you suddenly burst in, they mistook you for bandits coming to rob us. If they accidentally shot 2 bandits, that should count as self-defense, right? Inspector, please be careful. At this auction of ours, there are dozens of carts loaded with specialties from Northern Liang. It is one thing for you to confiscate them, but what if these goods are lost or damaged? And if, by any chance, there are rumors that you set your eyes on these treasures and wanted to pocket them for yourself? Inspector, you surely haven't forgotten why your predecessor, Inspector Zhao, was dismissed from office and had his estate confiscated. This is blatant extortion. When the Grand Secretary denounced Zhao Wuji in court, he used the exact charge of corruption and bribery. And now, use the cauldron to frame the Imperial City Guard. If anything at all goes wrong with these items, then Grand Secretary, the reputation of integrity you have built at court for decades, will vanish in an instant. You truly have a sharp tongue. You flatter me. Withdraw. You're leaving already. Do come visit again, Lord Shen. There was a minor incident just now. My apologies for alarming you, my lords. Tonight, everything is 20% off. Please feast your eyes on our first auction item, a perfume crafted by the Liang workshop. How fragrant! What kind of floral water is this? It smells even more fragrant than the rose water from the western regions. This was made using the perennial snow from the peaks of Liang, distilled with 81 types of exotic flowers. The fragrance is long-lasting and never fades. The starting bid is 50 taels. Each increment must be at least 10 taels. 100 taels, 200 taels, 250 taels, sold. 300 taels, 350 taels, 500 taels, 500 taels, sold. Everyone. I bid 1,300 taels. 3,000 taels. 3,000 taels, sold. Ha 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 ha. 300,000 taels of silver for the military, general. A single auction brought in a full 300,000 taels. That is enough to pay the northern garrison for half a year. Well done, Jin the shopkeeper. From today on, you are a man of note here in the capital. You are truly incredible, general. I used to think stealing was thrilling, but now I realize stealing people's hearts right in front of the whole world and pulling off such a grand feat is the real thrill. Before, when I stole things, they would report me to the authorities. I am now reaching directly into their pockets. And they still have to thank me. Ha 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 ha, do not celebrate yet, Your Highness. This is only the first step toward establishing a foothold in the capital. Then, military counselor, what shall we do next? Next. A storm is brewing. I fear the prefect will not let this matter rest. Embezzling from the imperial treasury. A heavy charge indeed. It seems the Shenbei military is determined to oppose me. Since that is the case, then use some methods on this magistrate Jiang. Let him know who it is that truly calls the shots in this capital. What do you mean, my lord? The decree for General Shong has yet to be issued. His Majesty has not yet granted Jiang Ding an official post. Since this magistrate Jiang has nothing to do, have the Minister of Personnel recommend him to the Shenji camp. The Divine Engine Division is composed entirely of loyalists above the third rank, and sons of noble families. For a hoodlum like Jiang Ding with no background, he will surely be ostracized once he enters. By then, we won't even need to lift a finger. There will naturally be plenty of people to deal with him. Killing someone without getting one's own hands dirty. Your Excellency's strategy is truly brilliant. Please forgive this subordinate for being ignorant of the height of the heavens and the depth of the earth. I want him to know that in this capital, if I wish to crush him, it is like crushing an ant. Joining the army. I have never seen so much silver in my life. Have some ambition, you will see much more in the future. There is indeed a lot of silver, but how shall we transport it back to Beiliang? Counselor, what are you drawing? Paper currency. What exactly is paper currency? I ask you all, what is the most common currency used for trade in the market? It must be copper coins. Markets and shops all use copper coins. On the steppes, silk rolls and tea leaves are also used. The nomadic tribes do not weave or farm. Silk and tea are scarce. Yes, they are all hard currency used for trade on the steppes, but whether it is copper, silver, or silk, none of it is convenient for circulation. Aside from official government silver, the silver used for private trade in various regions differs in purity and weight. This means that, if one wishes to spend silver from the capital in Beiliang, one must have a silversmith verify its purity and weight. Furthermore, large sums of silver cannot be transported. If they pass through official roads, they will surely be seized. No matter how much silver we earn, it is all for naught if it doesn't reach the soldiers. Then what should we do? It's simple. Find something else to replace silver. But for generations, haven't we always used silver and copper coins? There is a new option now. Paper money. You mean that holding this paper allows one to buy goods just like silver? Precisely, Counselor. How is that possible? Why wouldn't it be? You two still don't grasp the essence of currency. Whether it is silver or copper coins, frankly, they are merely a medium of exchange. As long as the common folk accept it, it doesn't matter if it's a piece of paper. Even a string of virtual numbers could be used to purchase goods just the same. But, Counselor, such a flimsy piece of paper. What if it gets wet or torn? What if the commoners refuse to accept it? As long as we acknowledge it, the commoners will accept it too. The reason this paper can be circulated in the capital, please, is because it is backed by the 100,000 troops of the northern garrison, backed by 500,000 dan of grain in the granaries, and backed by our impenetrable mysterious map. This is called fiat currency. As long as they trust Northern Liang, they will trust this paper. Go and send word to the general. Effective immediately, the Wuyun Coin will be circulated throughout Northern Liang. All transactions made in Wuyun Coins will receive a 30% tax exemption. In this way, every merchant will take the initiative to settle transactions in Wuyun Coins. At the same time, set up exchange points at every city gate. For any commoners who do not trust the Wuyun Coin, they may go to these points to exchange them for silver. At any time, anyone holding this Wuyun Coin can exchange it for real silver at an exchange point. It must be honored immediately without delay. That doesn't seem right, military advisor. It's just a flimsy piece of paper. Wouldn't it be even easier for someone to forge? Do you think I wouldn't have considered something you could think of? See this watermark. This technique is exclusive to our Bailiang workshops. This is what we call an anti-counterfeiting mark. I will have the accountant design a batch with unique anti-counterfeiting patterns. There's no need to fear forgery. Your strategy is brilliant, military advisor Gao. Teacher, you always plan 10 steps ahead. Is promoting paper currency truly just for convenience? Smart lad, you're catching on. I indeed have other goals in mind. Care to guess what they are? Once Northern Liang has its own independent currency, it can exist independently of the imperial court, no longer subject to the court's constraints. But Northern Liang lacks copper mines, so it cannot mint copper coins. Besides, even if it could, the right to mint currency has always been held by the imperial court since ancient times. If Northern Liang wants to use money, it can only borrow from the court. This means Northern Liang's economic lifeline is firmly held by the court. If the court were to issue rewards to Northern Liang, or issue new currency like this, then Northern Liang's economic system would collapse instantly. This is what we call currency warfare. Throughout history, all political struggles have inevitably been accompanied by economic warfare. And in economic warfare, the first thing to be struck is often the currency. Therefore, Northern Liang must have its own currency, not for the sake of prosperity, but so that, when others hold a blade to our throats, we can still survive. Thus, just as the grasslands use silk and tea as currency, if the Great Liang severs ties with us and cuts off the supply of silk and tea, then on the grasslands, the prices of silk and tea will skyrocket. They could increase tenfold or even 100-fold. A single bolt of silk could be worth 100 sheep. When that day comes, whoever holds the silk holds control over all resources on the grasslands. Ha 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 ha. Well done, lad. Truly worthy of my teaching. You learn fast. But for now, you may rest easy. As long as the royal court bears no malice toward Northern Liang, Northern Liang will not use such methods against the grassland. After all, we rely on the cattle, sheep, and horses of the grassland. As long as the Manchu do not initiate hostilities, the border markets can remain open indefinitely. This is, for Northern Liang, and for the grassland, mutually beneficial. Adjutant Sun. Room number 3 of the Heavenly Pavilion. Today we hosted Admiral Silijian. The entertainer Yueji, who played the cithar for the Admiral earlier, sent word. The Minister of Personnel has recommended to His Majesty to deploy the Divine Machine Battalion to execute him. It seems the Chief Counselor's purge has arrived ahead of schedule. What are we to do then? Adjutant, I have heard that the Divine Machine Battalion is filled with sons of noble houses. They hold us common soldiers in the greatest contempt. You are going in alone. What if they bully me? What is there to fear? I actually think the Divine Machinery Battalion is a good place. It is personally overseen by Zhao Shenqin, and they are equipped with the most advanced weaponry. Our Shenbei army has always wanted to improve our divine machinery, but we could only buy blueprints from the capital. Yet the Divine Machinery Battalion holds direct access to the most advanced weapons of the Great Qian. If I could manage to swipe a couple of blueprints, wouldn't that save us all the time and effort? Furthermore, since the Chief Minister wants to keep me stifled in the Divine Machinery Battalion, I should certainly put on a good show for him. Your Majesty, I have finally managed to see you. I have been staying at the guest house for nearly half a month. I was beginning to think Your Majesty had forgotten about me. Presumptuous! How dare you behave so boorishly before the Emperor? Your Majesty, I am merely yearning for your presence. I was just overcome with excitement. I heard you've been running some sort of workshop in Bailiang. You've made quite a bit of money. That old man is always calculating. He's terrified of Bailiang saving even a single coin. What kind of money is this, really? Your Majesty, we are just a group of poor people forced into a corner. We had no choice but to find our own way to survive. In the 16th year of Xianping, the Man tribe breached the Bailiang defense line. Over half our soldiers were lost before the territory was reclaimed. Bailiang requested compensation for the soldiers from the imperial court. The Ministry of Revenue issued less than 10%. In the 17th year of Xianping, Bailiang suffered a snow disaster. General Li requested 100,000 taels of silver for disaster relief. The Ministry of Revenue didn't give a single cent. In the 19th year of Xianping, The northern garrison petitioned the Ministry of War to replace 3,000 sets of iron armor. The Ministry of War only replied with 4 characters: insufficient stock. This summer, Northern Liang suffered a flood unseen in a century. Enough. That is enough. Get to the point. The point is that 100,000 commoners are displaced. If His Majesty does not provide food, they will rebel. The Northern Expedition Army is truly at its wits' end. The funds to build the Northern Liang workshops were even borrowed as high-interest loans from the Prince of Shaoyao of Great Chu. Your subject shoulders a heavy responsibility. It was not easy to get this chance to see His Majesty on General Li's behalf. Could His Majesty please allocate some funds from the imperial treasury? If that is truly not possible, help us pay off the high-interest loans first. Presumptuous. This is sheer nonsense. The goods from those Northern Liang workshops are already being sold in the capital. Yet you still dare to plead poverty before His Majesty. Elder Gu, you cannot slander me like this. Wasn't it you who told me a while ago that to open a shop in the capital, I had to pay you protection money? Did I not pay you? You cannot slander me to His Majesty just because your extortion failed. When did I ever extort you? Your Majesty, please investigate. Your subject has never taken a single coin from Jiang Ding. I shall investigate the matter of the Northern Liang workshop myself. As for Jiang Qing, report to the Shenji camp starting tomorrow. You may withdraw. Yes, humph, you. Gu Qing, pay him no mind. Regarding the affairs of Northern Liang, what is your take? Your Majesty, Jiang Ding's words are not to be trusted. The Northern Liang workshop's business has already reached the capital. That perfume and soap, and those snow velvet cloaks, it has become quite the trend among the capital's nobility lately. If this continues for long, the production of similar goods will inevitably be threatened. Your Majesty, please take a look. This is the perfume produced by the Northern Liang workshops. Because this perfume has taken the capital's noble women by storm. The incense shops in Jingshong are already suffering. Their foot traffic has dropped by half. Once the people grow accustomed to Northern Liang's perfume, the Shongxiang firm will surely go bankrupt. By then, Northern Liang can sell their perfume at a premium and monopolize the entire industry. If you try to intervene then, it might just incite a rebellion. How vicious that young fellow is. This is far more soul-crushing than Limuji's army of 100,000. Then, in your opinion, Gu Qing, what should be done? Your Majesty, no matter how well Northern Liang's workshops perform, they also intend to profit from us. Since that is the case, then we shall ensure they cannot make a profit. Oh! Does Your Majesty have a brilliant plan? In my view, no matter how large Belyang's business grows, it cannot escape one fatal weakness. They have no copper mines. Belyang mines iron and coal, but they do not mine copper. No matter how much silver their workshops earn, when they wish to pay their soldiers' wages, they must still use copper coins of great value. If we mint a batch of counterfeit coins and circulate them into Belyang, while simultaneously issuing an imperial decree to prohibit their usage and flood their market with our currency, then the copper coins in the hands of those lowly Belyang subjects will become nothing more than a pile of scrap metal. I will not even need to dispatch troops. They will fall into chaos all on their own. Establish a wise decree. Issue an imperial edict to the Ministry of Works. Mint a batch of debased coins immediately. I want those lowly subjects in Northern Liang to know that when it comes to money, I am the true master. Greetings, State Preceptor. Eunuch, who is that person? Ask less about palace affairs. That is the State Preceptor. He is tasked with refining elixirs of immortality for His Majesty. Since His Majesty took the State Preceptor's elixirs, he has been much more spirited. This must be due to His Majesty's immense fortune. A bodhisattva sent specifically to protect His Majesty. As expected, aging emperors all love popping pills. Who would have thought Shaozhen is no exception? But since this State Preceptor knows how to refine pills, he must be best at blowing up his furnace. Try to see if you are right. Military advisor, what are we doing here? Waiting. Waiting for what? Yaba, go bring that sorcerer to me. Remember, take him alive. Oh, you're awake. What do you want? I am the imperial preceptor appointed by His Majesty himself. How dare you touch me? Beware, or His Majesty will have your heads. Rest assured, Lord Imperial Preceptor, I have no intention of harming you. The reason I invited you here as a guest is to ask you for a few things. What things? I hear you often practice alchemy, Lord Imperial Preceptor. You must be quite familiar with niter and sulfur. These two substances. You have knowledge of alchemy too. If you use too much of those two, the furnace will easily explode. That is no concern of yours, Imperial Preceptor. I only require niter and sulfur of the highest purity. If you refuse, Grand Preceptor, His Majesty might find out by tomorrow that the longevity pills he's been taking contain lead, mercury, and cinnabar. Military advisor, what do we need this for? Blind man, have you heard this little rhyme? First you pare, then you drain, then add charcoal. Add some white sugar, and it's worth 10,000. What is worth 10,000? Ha 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 ha. What is worth 10,000? You will understand in time. Military advisor Jiang, isn't this absurd? How can these slips of paper be used as money? Indeed, if we give these to the commoners, what if they start a riot? Changfeng would never do anything without certainty. If he says it can be done, then it certainly can. But, General, do as Changfeng says. Starting tomorrow, all merchants in Beiliang must use Wuyun coins. Let's disperse. Let's go. Even if Wuyun coins are implemented throughout Beiliang, Dajin still needs to trade with Daeju. Even if we commoners accept it, will the merchants from Daeju and Dajin accept it? Indeed, who can say? Who knows what the general is thinking? Sigh. Everyone. Our Tiansheng Renjian is launching a new promotional event. Top up your membership card with 10,000 for only 9,900 Wuyun coins. And it can be used throughout all of Beiliang. Is Beiliang going crazy with poverty, treating money like paper? I wouldn't even use this stuff to wipe my backside. Exactly, who would be foolish enough to use their real gold and silver to exchange for those colorful slips of paper? What's happening? Is it an earthquake? It's Prince Xiaoyao. Prince Xiaoyao's carriage. I heard Prince Xiaoyao is the biggest client of Beiliang's workshops. If he finds out Beiliang used paper to do business with him, he'll probably tear down this paradise on earth. Just wait, there's going to be a good show. Ah, Your Highness, it has been a long time. Did you bring enough money this time? Truly worthy of being great, choose Prince Xiaoyao. You certainly have the means. Your Highness, I sell spices. Please, take a look at my spices. These are the finest spices from the western regions. Your Highness, I sell silk. Take a look at my silks and satins. Your Highness, I am. Your Highness, look at me. I sell horse saddles. Adjutant Ken, are we just going to watch them steal our business? What's the rush? The more people, the better. They'll be advertising for us for free in a moment. Ha! Ha ha ha, Adjutant Jiang. I have brought enough silver. Let us go inside and discuss. No rush, Your Highness. Our Beiliang has changed its rules now. If you want to do business with me, I only accept Wuyun coins. One tael of silver is equivalent to 100 Wuyun coins. That colorful paper is a scam. Use real gold and silver. Your Highness, shouldn't we have him beheaded? Fine, fine, fine. We shall use whatever Adjutant Jiang says. Your Highness, take a good look. That is nothing but paper. He's a swindler. Are you trying to lecture me on how to conduct myself? I dare not, Your Highness. These are merely slips of paper. If they get damp or rot, wouldn't your gold and silver all go down the drain? Humph, what would you know? This paper currency is issued by the Northern Liang workshops. Northern Liang's business relies on the credibility of their 100,000 iron cavalry. doing business with Shaoshan of your great Qian. Goods might be seized and payments might be delayed, but Northern Liang is different. As long as Limuji is still here, as long as his 100,000 iron cavalry remain, I can trade this paper for perfume, trade it for mirrors, and trade it for the snowmelt of the northern frontier. If I don't trust Adjutant Jiang, am I to trust you treacherous merchants instead? Adjutant Jiang, pay them no mind. Just a bunch of useless, sour fools who do nothing but fret all day. I am still in a rush to discuss with you the monopoly of Shuwerong in Great Chu. If it were me, I'd exchange them too. I have 10,000 taels of gold. Exchange it all for Wuyun coins. Me too. I want to exchange as well. I want to buy a membership. I want to buy perfume. Don't rush. Don't rush. Let me exchange first. Grand Secretary. This Jiang Ding is more difficult to deal with than we imagined. Should we? Let him do as he pleases. Once the debased currency flows into Beiliang, the commoners will be able to exchange a jar of counterfeit coins for 100 of his Wuyun coins. When that time comes, let's see if his paper money is still worth anything. Tell the Ministry of Rights to push Lord Jiang. It is time for him to report for duty at the Shenji Battalion. Yes. This is the Shenji Battalion. Even more anticipated than General Li's grand battle. This was personally bestowed by Shaoshan. Naturally, it's far more opulent than the backwaters of our Northern Liang. 10,000 strings of cash. Oh! I bid 100,000 strings of cash. Haha, you lost. Drink the forfeit. What are you lot doing? Did anyone see Chancellor Jiang, the general of the household, arrive? Hurry up and assemble. Greetings, my lord. Humph. If I don't teach you boys some manners today. His rank is higher than ours. Isn't this a bit improper? What are you afraid of? We have the senior grand secretary backing us. What can he possibly do to us? General Lan, they are hurling insults right to your face. You're really not going to do anything. Let him curse. The more the soldiers look down on us, the better. The more advantageous it is for us. Once Northern Liang sharpens their blades and quietly places them against their throats, they will know who truly rules this world. Ha 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 ha. Go see the old man. You must be crazy about getting a promotion. With these few scraps of paper, you still want to see His Majesty. This is the Divine Strategy Battalion. We are all descendants of officials, personally appointed by His Majesty. Ha ha ha. Someone like you wants to get ahead here. Have you asked us brothers first? These blueprints, it's like being handed a pillow just as I'm getting sleepy. Someone actually brought us the old blueprints. Where did this troublemaker come from? I advise you not to meddle. Mute. Ha. Ha ha ha. Elder. You have been startled. Who are you? I am but a humble servant, chief manager of the Beiliang workshop, and assistant commander of the Divine Strategy Battalion. Is that the Beiliang workshop, the one belonging to Limuji of Beiliang? Precisely, that very Beiliang workshop. Elder. I heard these men say you are looking for the blueprints. If I am not mistaken, you must be from the Imperial Armory, the descendant of Gongshu Ban. That is correct, I am of the Gongshu family from the Imperial Armory. Are you saying that your ancestor is the legendary Gongshu Ban? Indeed. Master Gongshu, is it? I have long admired your reputation. Master, looking at this mess, let us not just stand here. I shall take you to the pleasure pavilion. I will arrange 2 attendants for you. You may enjoy a bath and relieve your fatigue. Oh, that's right. Perhaps I should hold on to the blueprints for you. No need at all. You keep them yourself. Once we arrive on my turf, let's see if you can still escape. Master, please taste this wine. The brewing technique for this wine was specially refined by me. It is pure and smooth on the palate. I have named it Wind, Flower, Snow, and Moon. Lord Jiang, let us speak plainly. What exactly do you want me to do? Rest assured, Master, I do not covet your blueprints. I only wish to borrow a copy. Forget it, forget it. Without a discerning eye to appreciate them, these blueprints are merely idle talk in my hands. Look then, take a look. This is what I have designed. An improved version of the triple bow siege crossbow. The current Dakian crossbow has a range of 800 paces. But it is too cumbersome. It requires 30 men to operate the winch. I have spent my entire life's work improving the pulley system and the bow arms to design this current version. It requires only 3 men to operate, yet the range can reach 1,200 paces. 1,200 paces, that's nearly 1,500 meters. That is equivalent to the effective range of a Barrett sniper rifle in this era of cold weapons. This means the enemy won't even see you before you've already pinned them to the ground. Mounted atop the highest point of the city wall, such a crossbow could hold off at least 3,000 enemies. Military equipment is indeed a fine thing, but it is still too clumsy. What are you doing? That was my life's work. 1,200 paces is indeed far, but it is stationary, while the enemy is alive. By the time you take aim, they would have long since vanished. Master, take a look at this blueprint first. This is called the Truth, specifically designed to cure the fear of insufficient firepower. Coupled with a pouch of black powder, there is no need to aim, nor is there a need to worry about range, as long as the direction is right. For 10 miles in every direction. Boom! It fires from all barrels. This is what we call caliber is authority. To fire at a city is to pacify it. It is a public service that leads the entire era. With this technology, we can put an end to the age of cavalry, whether it be the Tefu or some mysterious woman. Before this, they are all paper tigers. So, Master, I need your skills to forge this. However, with the current forging techniques of Dakian, I am afraid it is difficult to cast such a long pipe. The furnace temperatures at the armory are insufficient. The impurities cannot be removed, and the iron produced is not durable. Pipes forged in such furnaces will have uneven thickness, and they are very likely to explode during use. Master, do not worry about the furnace. Look, Master Jiang is also well versed in artifact crafting. Meow meow. This hot blast recirculation system uses exhaust gases to preheat the intake air. It can increase the furnace temperature by at least 30%. Once it reaches that temperature, it will flow like liquid water. The impurities will naturally vanish. Lord Jiang, this is a miracle. This is called the blast furnace smelting method. Master, with this furnace, can you forge the truth I desire? I can. Most certainly. With this furnace, never mind ice iron. I could even forge profound iron. Besides this furnace, I have one more thing to give you, Master. This is a water-powered hammer. Human strength has its limits, but the river's power is inexhaustible. By harnessing the river's force to power a weight of several hundred Jin, you will no longer need to hammer the iron blow by blow, Master. When that day comes, we shall be able to use an assembly line to mass-produce thousands of truths. Lord Jiang, I am truly humbled and convinced. But there are no rivers near the capital. Where exactly is this hydraulic forge to be built? Not in the capital. But it is in Beiliang. The Heishui River winds for over 600 li. As long as you give the word, Master, I can make the arrangements immediately to escort you to Beiliang to oversee the forge. This is treason. Treason? You jest, Master. Shaoshan's empire does not need me to revolt against it, just because he sacrificed the 100,000 soldiers on the front lines to consolidate his imperial power. His reign as emperor will not last long. I didn't create this truth to rebel against him, but so that when the barbarians or the great Jin invade us, our people won't have to stand there and wait for death. I have received word that the great Jin has improved their mysterious weapons, with sharp horses and elite soldiers, just waiting to strike. Master Gongshu, you could pretend you never saw these blueprints today, but can you guarantee that one day, when the great Jin cavalry arrives, you will still be able to sit here, as safe and sound as you are now? I am willing to serve Lord Jiang, even if it costs me my life. This old man's life is yours. From now on, you belong to Master Jiang. I shall depart for Northern Liang tomorrow. That is the right choice. Master Gongshu, I promise you, within these 4 kingdoms, I am the only one who can push your talent to its limit. Release? The duck. Have you recorded the proportions? Counselor, the current ratio for this black powder is the most powerful one. It can cause explosions within a 5-mile radius. Exactly, but the noise is too loud. The city guard will likely catch the scent and arrive soon. They have come at the right time. I was worried they wouldn't show up, Counselor. The prefect went to great lengths to get me into the divine armory. It is time I return the favor. Gu Lang. Jiang Ding is operating in the army. It seems he has really achieved something. I heard he has recently been testing some kind of gunpowder. Once ignited, its power is immense. It can level half a hillside. It seems I underestimated him. This Jiang Ding truly has some skill. It is just a pity he refuses to serve me. If that gunpowder is truly as powerful as you say, then the Dajin cavalry and the barbarian iron pagodas would be as fragile as paper before it. Such a lethal weapon must naturally be in my own hands. But Jiang Ding is always full of tricks. Will he obediently hand over the recipe? That will no longer be up to him. Morning Court. Long live His Majesty, long live, long live. Jiang Ding, stay behind. Jiang Ding. I hear you've created something in the divine strategy camp, a black gunpowder, Your Majesty. Your subject did indeed discover it by chance. When sulfur and saltpeter are mixed and ignited, they produce tremendous power, capable of splitting mountains and shattering rocks. However, what could it be that Magistrate Jiang does not wish to offer this formula to His Majesty? You old fox! Do you think I don't know what you're plotting? I, Shuang Tang, would never dare to deceive Your Majesty. It is just that the formula is still in the experimental stage. The results are not yet stable. Once this subject has calibrated the optimal ratio, I will certainly present the formula to Your Majesty. I think you clearly have no intention of handing it over. Your Majesty, this subject has heard that only yesterday, Magistrate Jiang was at the Western Hills, testing the power of this gunpowder. The formula is already quite mature, yet now you are deliberately stalling. Could it be that you do not wish to hand over the formula to ease the imperial court's burdens? Lord Jiang, you are now the left garrison general of the Divine Armory. Serving the Emperor is your duty. Do you still pine for your former master? Are you keeping this gunpowder formula to give to someone else? Good heavens! As expected of a craftsman, his words are truly heart-piercing. He knows full well that Xiao Shen is most wary of Li Mo. He is simply twisting the blade into the most painful spot.